Hockey Podcast. I am Joe Battalion, that is Skoks. Today we will be going over yesterday's game on the 12th of November. Blackhawks versus the Florida Panthers in Sunrise, Florida. So stick it here. We're going to go over it in depth. As stated before, Blackhawks fans, welcome into the newest edition of Chicago Blackhawks Central Hockey Podcast. Today we are going over Blackhawks versus Panthers, a loss, but a lot closer than maybe the scoreboard would have showed. This second game and the final game of the mom's trip. So congratulations to them. I was listening to Chris Foster's Kaylee Chelios and Seth Jones' mom, which I think is Amy. I think her name is Amy Jones. So that was cool. 4-3 is the final score. Panthers over the Hawks. I'll go by the numbers really quick. Hawks outshot 31 to 26. Out face-offed 42% to 58%. Didn't bury on the power play. The Hawks had 3 of them. Florida went 2 for 4, 50%. So
Yeah.
you have to clean that up a little bit. Florida out hit the Hawks 21 to 15. We know this from last year in the playoffs. You know, definitely a different team, missing a couple key pieces in Brandon Montour and Aaron Ekblad.
Definitely, yeah.
And then got, some new additions in your Ekman Larsons, your Rodriguez's, and, so on and so forth. So they out hit the Hawks. So you'd like to think that the Hawks had the puck for a little bit longer than the Florida Panthers, and then Blackhawks out blocking the Florida Panthers 23 to 10, which is very significant.
Yeah.
Got to think that the Florida Panthers are going to be a little reluctant to block shots with down so many good players and players that give them good minutes. So we can go to a period breakdown of the goals, and that was 4 goals in the first period, 2 for each team, 2 goals in the second period, 1 for each team, and then third, the Blackhawks could not find an answer to that last goal by the Panthers, giving them the victory. I want to say the Hawks had some good momentum.
Oh yeah.
Right there at the end. I think they pulled the goalie with like a minute and a half left.
Yeah. It was like 150 left on the clock there, yeah.
So I think they gave themselves a shot for sure. And I was really, really looking for that, Tyler Johnson almost shoulda, woulda, coulda.
Yeah.
Very, very close with 5 seconds left to tie the game.
Yeah.
Would have been baller.
Yeah. And it was handed to him right there. I'm not sure on the time on the clock, but it was going to cut it close, right? It seems like he whiffed, but he actually didn't even connect with the puck, But if he did, then hey, I think that one's in the back of the net there. It was that. It was wide open,
Point shot, I want to say it was from Bedard, to be honest. And
yeah.
It just started bouncing around. It was a fluke play. It would have been a right place, right time type business.
Oh yeah.
And it just didn't work out. And I really would have liked that to happen. It was really exciting. 12 p.m. game, noon game. No Bears this weekend, so they played on Thursday night and won that game, surprisingly. So it was cool, to have, I think the game on at that time would have been Packers-Steelers.
Yeah.
And
there were a few games on at noon, yeah.
Right. So I was just like, you know what? I don't get a chance to watch the Hawks all that much, and put on the Hawks game, and it was awesome. I was excited when the Hawks scored. I was jumping up and I was yelling expletives at the Florida Panthers. And then
Yeah.
when the Panthers scored, I was pretty sad. I'm not gonna lie, it was a roller coaster.
Yeah.
Uh,
S- I guess maybe I'll get to the bloom later on, but just a few shout outs for like Lucas Reichel getting pretty decent primary assist there to who was it? Jason Dickinson, right in front of the net, just like wraps it back behind him. Sort of like a nifty pass, pretty close to the net, right in front actually, and Dickinson puts it in there for the first Hawks goal. Uh, and Bedard goes sicko mode. Pretty much the whole game. He had 4 or 5 shots on net, but those 2 goals that he had, 2 goals back to back games, right? Uh, Close to Hattie, both games. A lot of opportunities. But
yeah, hat trick watch both nights,
mhm,
and we're talking 4 goals, 2 assists in 2 games,
yeah,
so 6 points. Uh, 3 points a game. I mean,
hmm,
he was not the problem, which is awesome,
no, yeah,
even in the least bit. And he's really starting to figure things out here.
oh yeah,
And
yeah,
you know, he's must watch TV. So
hmm,
really good for him,
hmm,
and just happy for him, happy for the moms. Moms were fired up,
yeah,
and
fire,
when you split those games, you kind of not destroy the Tampa Bay Lightning, but you
hmm,
know, I mean they worked them. The Hawks
oh
worked
yeah,
them. It was
yeah,
that was a not like an easy win, but 5-3, and
hmm,
that third goal came really late in the third period.
yeah,
So they played really well that game.
hmm,
Uh, you know, would like to take a couple less penalties in the Florida game.
oh yeah,
I don't think that was completely their fault.
hmm,
I think the refs were a little
yeah,
heavy handed with the whistle, I suppose.
hmm,
Which can bring us into our next point. So
yeah,
um, the reason those two of those penalties happened out of
hmm,
the four was because Dmitry Kulikov decided to take liberties with Connor Bedard.
right,
And Nick Foligno was having none of that, which I really very much appreciate.
hmm,
And then the refs tacked gave 2 power plays, 2 infractions to Nick Foligno. So Nick Foligno
hmm,
got a slashing and a roughing call. Um, you know, I this has been discussed in Blackhawks circles a little bit, uh, and Connor Bedard is the next. He is the next generational player that the NHL has,
yeah,
and um, I'm not entirely sure I would agree with the statement like, well, if that was McDavid,
hmm,
you know, the arm's going up, because
right,
I'm not entirely sure that that would be the case.
hmm,
I know McDavid doesn't really get many calls,
no,
uh, which I think is odd, but
hmm,
that's okay. Um, so Bedard turns, and then Kulikov just hits him in the numbers as hard as he
yeah,
can, and Bedard he got up also like a little soon. I think maybe if he could have sold it a little bit, that would be a
yeah,
little nice.
true, true,
You know,
true,
I don't I don't necessarily want him to get that reputation
yeah,
so early in his career of like being a whiner or a complainer or whatever. And
hmm,
clearly he doesn't want that reputation at all either, because he jumped right back up. Foligno
yeah,
took care of it. Uh, I think you could have gotten Kulikov on a board. I think you could have gotten him on a a roughing maybe,
Yeah.
I think you could have gotten something over there. And
Mhm.
then I think you just needed to give one penalty to Foligno for roughing as well.
Yeah.
Because no gloves came off, there's no fights.
This is true. This is true.
So it's like, okay, you know, if you're not going to call what we think is a very like legitimate infraction,
Mhm.
you know, then then you have to hand it over to the players,
Right.
so that they can police their own game because
Yeah.
that's how hockey has worked since its inception.
Yeah. Can't do
So
that. Can't do that. You
right,
know.
so y- am I okay with Foligno getting both of those? Yes. Would I have liked him just to have gotten one? Yes.
Yeah.
Do I think that Kulikov also should have gotten something? Yes,
Yeah.
I do.
Mhm.
Um, and then, you know, so you give those, okay, fine, whatever.
Mhm.
It is a little rough and tumble. But then, like very, very soon into the third period, here, I'll just pull it up right now.
Mhm. Yeah.
A buck 30 into the third period, Jason Dickinson gets an interference call against Dmitry Kulikov. And it's
Mhm.
like, okay,
Right.
guys, what are we doing here? Like, you know, Foligno got a couple shots in on Kulikov.
Yeah.
Was that enough? Probably not.
Mhm.
And then Dickinson, hits Dmitry Kulikov because he deserves it.
Yeah.
And
For a lot of things.
for a lot of
Cool,
things.
though. Yeah.
Right, exactly. I mean, this is a very long time ago, but he breaks Patrick Kane's
Collarbone.
collarbone,
Yeah.
and then now he's hitting, and uh,
98.
it's getting those hits were kind of similar. They
It
were
was.
both they were
It
both
was.
in that sort of general area,
You're right. You're right.
away from the boards.
Yeah.
So, um, I don't know what it is, what Dmitry Kulikov has against Chicago Blackhawks star players, but
It's
I think
weird.
I think he should resolve that with himself
Yeah.
and stop doing that.
Mhm.
You know, so a little ticky tack.
Yeah.
Uh,
Mhm.
I know Coach Granato was talking about that on NBC Sports.
Mhm.
So it's just like I don't. I think the refs needed to figure it out there.
Yeah.
Um, get
Mhm.
a little bit more. Protect Bedard a little bit more, and
Yeah.
then or just let the boys play in general.
Right. You have to let the game flow, you know? Uh,
Yeah,
make good calls, and you gotta let it flow how it goes, when those calls aren't made, right? Um, I wanna touch on Arvid Soderblom really quick. Um, I believe his average goals allowed, is 4 right now, and a few games were, you know, weird situations like the Arizona game. Um, I don't think he was in for the Colorado game. I think that was Mrazek, but um, against Florida, let's see here. So 4 goals allowed, uh, 32 or no, 28 out of 32. Save percentage, 875. He definitely started out hot. Both him and Peter Mrazek, uh, playing pretty consistent. And Mrazek seems like he's playing um, pretty solid still, right? Just recently, but not sure what's going on with Arvid right now. You know,
his
uh,
positioning is off. He's
yeah,
getting a little frantic, and he's losing his net. Yeah,
definitely,
you know, I was singing Soderblom's praises.
yeah,
I was really high on him. I
yeah,
really appreciated the way he was playing the game,
yeah,
and
yeah,
he was going. He was doing so well. I mean,
yeah. Started
plain
out
and
hot,
simple. Yeah,
yeah,
and against good teams, good matchups,
right,
and
right,
everything. So and he's starting to lose it a little bit here, and I'm not
Yeah.
entirely sure what could be the cause of that.
Hmm. Yeah.
You know, is the season wearing on him?
Hmm.
Are the injuries piling up for the Hawks? Are
Hmm.
the personnel, is it impacting him?
Yeah. Like
Is
shots on net.
right, exactly. Is
Yeah.
it, you have Tenorti, Athanasiou, and Hall all go down in one
Yeah.
game. And you've got Hall and Athanasiou. Athanasiou, he's breaking the puck out using his foot speed.
Yeah.
Taylor Hall, really great player, offensively smart. Is he, maybe doing an extra pass to keep them in the offensive zone so that the opposing team isn't getting shots on him?
Mm.
Is Jared Tenorti not eating pucks and not shooting the net?
Yeah.
Is that, or knocking people, bullying people out in front of Soderblom? Is
Right.
that
Right.
affecting him?
Hmm.
It could be a myriad of things, but
Hmm.
it is. You are correct in uh, that he is being a little. He's been shaky lately,
Oh yeah.
and
Yeah. I
you know,
I think just mainly um like from what I've seen in just like real time reaction is his rebound control. You know, a few times like the puck just spits out like toward his right pad, and then like just misses a Florida Panthers stick, by a few inches. But if it connects with that stick, I mean that's another rebound goal right there. And you have to soak up these pucks, man. You can't give up every single rebound. You know, uh,
yeah,
definitely weird.
definitely.
Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, it's very odd that it's like all of a sudden.
yeah,
I get players and like goalies are weird and stuff, and they go through ebbs and
hmm
flows just like everyone else.
yeah,
Um, so hopefully this is just like a little down time, and
right,
he'll get back on the ice, get in the practice room, and you know start absorbing shots and
yeah,
working through it.
hmm yeah. That was pretty much all I wanted to touch on from the Florida game. You know,
Yeah,
yeah,
dude, it was a great game, and if you caught
was a
it, you
fun
knew
game. Yeah,
you knew that,
hmm
and if you just looked, maybe went to the NHL.com website and uh, clicked the recap, I think you would have enjoyed that as well. So
right,
that's going to do it for the Florida Panther game.
yeah,
Hawks are in action this Thursday at
hmm
home against the Tampa Bay Lightning again, 7 p.m. That's going to be on ESPN.
hmm
But now we're going to move on to prospect news for the Chicago Blackhawks.
yeah,
Lots of prospects making a lot of noise.
hmm
Seems like all of them are scoring goals. Frank Nazar, he's getting 2 goals here. He's getting 2 goals there.
yep,
Oliver Moore, he's potting one here, one there.
hmm
Nick Lardis
yep,
is making OHL history. Unbelievable. And
yeah,
then of the Kingston Frontenacs, Paul Ledwinski,
hmm
also, I want to say he's at 12 points in 12 games.
wow.
So,
Captain of the
Captain Paul Ledwinski.
yeah, in Kingston there. Man, great to see. Like when you look back, uh, the few weeks here that the prospects, got started. I mean, every week it seems like it's getting better, right? Everyone's contributing, whether it's scoring, assists, in net. I mean, it's looking mighty fine right now. That's
Yeah,
it's just awesome,
yeah,
right?
no doubt. And
Mhm.
I actually right here, I've got this Nick
Yeah.
Lardis stat. So
Mhm.
Nick Lardis This is from the Ontario Hockey League's Twitter page.
Wow.
Nick Lardis's 2 goals just 10 seconds apart on Sunday in Peterborough establish a new mark for the fastest 2 goals by one player in the 8-year history of the Bulldogs in the OHL. A Chicago Blackhawks prospect, Lardis has 12 goals in 17 games this season.
That's
This
unbelievable.
kid just can't stop burying the biscuit.
Yeah. And we saw that trend last year in his draft year, right?
Right.
Man, I think he had 40, I think.
And I think it was like a really big
Yeah.
jump up.
Right. It was a big jump. And now you're seeing this in the first 20 games. It's unreal. Not the biggest kid right now. I mean, he's still probably not even 19 yet, or maybe he did just turn 19, but it's unreal.
05.
05.
So he's 18.
Yeah, still 18.
Yeah.
Wow.
He's a youngin. 5'11", 165. Needs to get himself a couple Italian beefs, but
Yeah,
maybe
right.
some deep dish butter crust, well done pizza. But hey,
Uh-huh.
So ironically,
Mhm.
Nick Lardis was on the Peterborough Petes in
Yeah.
22-23. So that
And
was
then
2
traded.
goals.
Yeah.
that was 2 goals in 10 seconds against his former team.
Yeah.
Interesting tidbit.
Right. That's something else.
Yeah, so he took off the 22. Sorry, no, nothing. Peterborough Pete's 63 games played, 21-22, 63 games played, 18 goals, 37 points. 22-23, he splits it between Peterborough and Hamilton.
Right.
36 games for Peterborough with 12 goals. And then he does 33 games with Hamilton for 25 goals. So he doubles his goal total in the same year.
Yeah. I mean,
And that's awesome.
yeah,
And then now this season, 17 games played, 16 points, 12 of those are goals.
That's unbelievable.
This kid puts the biscuit in the basket.
Yeah.
And that's just it.
Yeah.
Plain and simple. He's a goal scorer. So
yeah, pure.
you always need goal scorers.
You do. Right.
Um,
And we saw that in the prospect showcase against the Wild and the Blues prospects, So like let's say half a step up, right? From the OHL level, because you're playing NHL prospects. And he had I want to say 2 goals, just snipes, man. And then he also had a few flashes in the Hawks preseason this year. Couple good breakaways. I mean, super fast player. I mean, I am intrigued by his game. He's going to be someone to watch down the line here. Obviously, pretty decent, height. But yeah, throughout the years, he's gonna, develop that muscle. Yeah, that's looking good, man.
Yeah, and then Paul Ledwinski, Captain Paul Ledwinski, Kingston Frontenacs, is
Right.
on a 9-game point streak where
Wow.
he scored 6 goals, 8 assists, good for 14 points. So,
Wow.
man,
In how
that's
many games?
9.
Wow. Oh my gosh. This is just nutty, man. This is awesome. Great stuff.
Yeah, I really, really loving to see it.
Hmm.
And yeah, so
Hmm.
that's gonna do it for the prospect news.
Yeah. Ooh. Really quick with the Ice Hogs. Forgot
Yeah.
to mention. Drew Comesso in net, number 33. Your October 2023 Ice Hogs Player of the Month, Drew Comesso, 2-1 record. Um, one shutout, youngest goalie in Ice Hogs history for a shutout. So that's
Nice.
great to see.
Yeah.
90% save percentage, just solid all around. You know, been playing very well, very well.
Yeah, man, that's really, really great to see.
Yeah,
I think I'd like a little bit more games for Drew
yeah,
Comesso to play.
right.
3 games in a month seems a little low
It does.
uh,
Yeah,
for me personally.
hmm
So I'd like to see him get in a couple more games, really be that starter.
yeah,
I don't want to be screwing over Jackson Stauber, but
yeah.
I obviously Comesso is the goaltender of the future.
Right.
So I'd like to get him in a little bit more games. But congratulations on Ice Hogs
Yeah.
Player of the Month
hmm
of October.
Yeah. Big news. Yeah.
Yeah, no, that's not nothing. Definitely.
Yeah. hmm
Uh, and I think that's actually going to wrap up this episode of the Chicago
Yeah.
Blackhawks Central Hockey Podcast. So thanks, guys, for listening. Thanks, guys, for watching. And we'll catch you next time, probably Thursday
Yeah.
to recap that Lightning game. Hopefully
mhm,
they can stick it to them
Right.
like they did
Last week.
last week. So thanks for listening. Thanks for watching. Go Hawks.
Let's go Hawks.